Welcome, everyone, to our workshop. We are so happy to be able to host this free expert session on personal branding. Before we kick it off, I would like to introduce myself. Let me just quickly share some details about myself. Um, Let me just quickly pop up this slide. So, we are hosting this workshop. Sorry, my cat wants to be part of this session too. We're hosting the session as part of the Women in Tech Career Development group on Facebook, which you're a member of. And Kathy and I are the admins of that group. My name is Ronke Babachida. I'm a manager for systems engineering at Fortinet. I'm also the founder of this group, and I'm a podcast host. I have a podcast called Women in Technology Spotlight. And I'm a writer. I write a blog on Medium and on Substack. You see my QR codes here. So there's my LinkedIn if you would like to connect, and there's my Linktree where you find the links to all my writing, to my podcast, and so forth. And with me is Kathy. Kathy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Kathy Siqueiros. As Ronka mentioned, I am a co-moderator of the Women in Technology Career Development Facebook group. So you might have seen my comments in there, and we try to keep things active. We'd love to see more activity in there. I did engineering as my first career. Then I did HR for 20 years at a couple of different companies. And then most recently, I became a leadership coach. And that was part of why I wanted to participate in the group, was to help women in technology thrive in their career. We need more women in technology, and we need women in technology to do well. And that's why we're all here today. You can find my LinkedIn at the QR code there. And then I'm offering a session for 30 minutes of coaching. And if you email me at the email listed there, I can hook you up with that. So thank you. And I'll hand it back to Ronka.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for introducing yourself, and thank you for offering this free coaching session. That's such a good deal. And now I would like to hand it over to our group specialist. Dafne is in our Facebook group, and she kindly offered to do this personal branding workshop, and I leave it to herself to introduce her. I'm just going to stop sharing here so she can share her slides and talk about herself. Over to you, Dafne.
Thank you, Ronke. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I see Eleni joining us from Helsinki. I will start presenting now. And any questions, I hope that we can discover further about personal branding here today. It will be very briefly, but one of the first things about our personal brand is that as soon as we can start connecting with each other, that's going to grow our network. Let me know if you see my screen. Yes?
Not yet.
Okay. I will one more time. Share screen. Okay.
So there we go.
Great. All right then. So start sharing your link comment from LinkedIn. Share it on the comment section wherever you are. Say Facebook or YouTube, right, Frank? Great. So let's get started now. So my name is Dafnee Meneses. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hei Dingo, where we're building a platform to connect international women around the world to job opportunities that will extend and build their personal brand forward, especially and specifically in their careers. And something that I like to share about my personal brand is that I always been an immigrant living in the United States, then moving to Mexico, and now in Finland. And the way to be able to make yourself stand out, specifically in an environment where no one knows you, is by allowing others to get to know your superpower. So what is your superpower, and how can you show it off to people? And yes, it's really good to be able to make your superpower stand out, even if it sounds a little bit maybe shy in the beginning. My superpower in my case would be that I'm always trying to be helping others and passing on knowledge that is out there and coming to me. For example, here, this is how I'm building my personal brand and building it forward, correct? So I want you to question yourself right now. What is your superpower, and how are you able to show it off to the world and in your career environment? This is the way to start questioning your personal brand. Now, I want to share a little bit of what you should be expecting from today. So we're going to talk about what is personal branding. We'll share a little bit of real stories. We'll talk about the online and offline personal brand idea. We'll get into LinkedIn profiles and how we should profile them to showcase our superpower in the world, specifically showcasing our tricks and tips to be able to build other people better and further in their careers or businesses if you're job seeking. And then, if possible, we will write a post to talk more about our personal brand and why others should know about us. So if you have any questions, please keep on writing them on the comment section. And as I continue to see them, I will start answering them. And if not, then there will be a moment to have these question and answer moments. Also, I am a very positive mindset person. I like to bring affirmations in my environment or situation. So you will have one or two affirmation moments that I would like you to repeat with me to kind of build our confidence and our personal brand forward. Okay. So now, what is personal branding? I like to think about personal brand as something that I bring to the table for others to be able to speak about me when I am not in the room. And this is something that I learned from Jeff Bezos and his famous quote. Personal brand is what others say about you when you're not in the room, right? So how many of you have heard about this before or have an idea of what this means? Can you comment on the comment section? And yes, feel free to share the link if necessary and if asked. All right. Well, this is important for us because specifically it builds our validation and our career background, meaning that if others do not understand what we're actually doing, then by us presenting ourselves and our skills, say hard or soft skills, or anything that will shape our career, presenting it to the world will make it easier for them to recognize us. Now, how can we do this? I specifically like to break it into three parts. The first part is the most important part because that is something that you can shape from, and it's knowing yourself. When you start creating these or start taking these test forms or personality test, or even if you're into astrology, for example, once you start knowing yourself and identifying what you like and what you don't like, what you're really good at, so for example, strengths and weaknesses, or maybe what you dislike about others, once you identify that about yourself, you're able to start knowing what you allow others to know about you. And the question that I would like you to take today from knowing yourself is, what do you know that others wish they knew about you? So not only about your personality, but in this case, in your career and your technical skills as women in tech, what is that skill or that moment in your career that you know that others would benefit from? And that is what you should be taking right now. And moving forward, start sharing your story. This is part 2 of these 3 parts. Sharing your story is the most important part of knowing yourself and putting it out there to the world. And by creating and taking it into different sections about your career, your unique value, or even the way you present yourself, if you're very detail oriented, or maybe you're more out in the bloom and just taking things as they come, then it's still a part of your story, and that makes you unique and very distinguished from others. And the question for shaping your story would be, where can people learn and relate to your story? And this will be presenting yourself in networking events or posting on LinkedIn or probably in your team. That's the most important place to share your personal brand. And it's just telling your story, telling what you are, what you're capable of doing, and more importantly, what you are able to offer others. Now, coming back to the 3-part section, the last one is, how do you become instantly recognizable? So now you know about yourself and you know how to identify your maybe best strength and also your weaknesses. That's very important. You know how to put it all together and you want to share that story with others. But how can people recognize you if we are very similar to everyone else that's job seeking or everyone else on our team? Well, there should be something that helps you stand out from the room, right? And the question that you should think about in this moment is, how do you stand out in a room full of people? And now we start talking about our physical appearance, or maybe the way we talk, or even if it's our accent. That is something that will help us stand out and be recognizable. A lot of people talk about, for example, very international people, very, very recognized CEOs, and so on. And they always have a staple. A staple could be their glasses, or even the way they present their emails. They can sign off in a very distinguished way. You can say kind regards, you can say best regards, or you can just say thank you at the end of your emails. But that's something that should be very unique to you. And if you continuously do this for many, many months, I would say, you will start being continuously recognizable. And that's the goal with your personal brand, that people identify you in the room, even if they can't hear you. They automatically see you and they know who you are. Or on the opposite, if they can't see you, they hear you and they automatically know who you are. Okay, so this is the first part of personal branding. I don't know if we have any questions up to here. Anything is welcome.
I don't see any questions
Actually, yeah. Great.
Please
Any
feel
questions
free
are
to
worth.
ask questions in the comments, everyone. So you don't have to be shy. Daphne was going to answer any questions you have.
Okay, but while we start getting anything in the comment section, I think you have a great point here, Ronke, where you're asking, how have you built your personal brand until now? And I think everyone has a personal brand. And the scariest point with that is that if you're not consistently shaping your personal brand, others are doing it for you. So it can be in a family environment, or it can be your superiors at work who are already talking about you. And if you're not putting in the work to talk about yourself and showcase your personal brand, then you're risking that they are shaping it for you. And especially us that are women in tech, we don't want that. We want to have it in our hands, and we want to allow others to know how capable and brilliant we are. So let's continue. Okay, so this is something that I really like to confirm for myself when I wake up in the morning, or when I'm struggling to find a little bit of confidence, and it's affirmations. So I like to say out loud, for example, here, my talents and qualities make me one of a kind. And I repeat them as many times as I can. Yes, MS, you haven't done much of building your personal brand yet, and it's always a good time to start. I think we're in a place in the world right now where, if we have social media like a LinkedIn account or Instagram, we have a little bit of a personal brand already that you have created for yourself, and you can start shaping it from there, understanding who you want to be and how do you want others to see you. Then you can start, even if you don't want to create content online, which we'll get there in a moment, you can already start building your personal brand forward. And you can start even in your personal environment, see what others think about you and how you would prefer them to see you, especially in your career. Where you can ask your boss maybe to sit down in your quarterlies and so on to build it forward. Is it different from building a brand as a self-employed? MS asks. It is very similar, but in this case, we are talking to more human-based. So even though we're not selling something, we are selling our skills. And that's, I think, a very human way to see how we are constantly shaping we are, who we are, and who we're talking to. So we want to say it's our reputation that we're building forward, and that we're allowing others to get in touch, compared to a company brand. In this case, a company brand shapes it. Everyone inside the company, everyone who's talking about the company, and around you, it's maybe the people that show you off in this case. How to set up Danielle asks, how to set myself up as a subject matter expert. I think this is a perfect way to move forward with your personal brand. So let me just go back quickly. So as you see here, I broke it down into 3 parts. And the best part is that when you're knowing yourself, you identify what niche you're going to maybe be the best expert at. And once you identify what in that niche you are capable of talking and allowing others to learn from you, that is what you're going to start asking. Okay, so what do others want to know about this topic? And then you're going to start shaping, why are you the person that is the expert on that topic, so the niche topic, and how can others relate to that? And then where are they going to find you? Say LinkedIn, Instagram, or in networking events as a thought leader, and so on. And that is how you are going to immediately be the one who people will think of regarding that niche topic, expert in such topic, and so on. Let me go forward, and I'm reading RS. I recently moved to US. I do not have a recent US experience. I worked in the US from 2000 to 2005. I was working in India in data analytics. I get rejected as I do not have a US experience. Wait, this is a really deep one for me, especially as a international in Finland. I understand that perfectly, and we hear this a lot. I think the best thing that you can do right now is build your personal brand, because if you don't have experience, then you want others to trust you. That is why personal brand is so important, because as mentioned before, it's your reputation. And maybe you can start by having small participation in networking events, volunteering. Showing your expertise is very important. And even if you just join communities to add value by commenting and giving your opinion, and if your opinion is valued and it builds others forward, as mentioned before, then you will start being recognized, and your personal brand will be the one that stands out in the room, which is what we want here. And that is how maybe you will be selected for an application, or you will be recognized. And next time someone needs a data analysis, they will think about you. And that's what we want to do right now. That's how we can overcome it, as well as the more we do with our personal brand, the easier it gets. Yes, thank you, Rama. Okay. So now I think this is a great transition into talking about online versus offline. The difference between online versus offline is that it's very important to be consistent, not only in the way you write. Now with ChatGPT and all these AI tools, which is great, it gives us a lot of support to understand our thoughts, understand what to post next, as an example. If we're consistently creating content of our knowledge and so on, but it can be a drastic change when your online presence is not the same as your offline. So if online you're showing everyone that you're super extroverted, or that you are a person that is very funny, but offline, like here Michael Scott from The Office, is not so funny, then there's going to be it's going to shock people. Specific psychologically, we're not going to understand what we were expecting. So you have to allow others to expect the same thing from the online version of yourself than from your offline version. So it's easier to start creating a personal brand offline, understanding who you are, what you do. But you can also create an alter ego. Just remember that if you're creating this superwoman, you also have to do it offline. Let me read the comment section. Yes, I think Ronke here has a good point. All right, so let's talk more about online in this first part. So online, we hear a lot about now social media managers or content creators, influencers. And one thing we want to rescue out of this really good opportunity that we have from learning from them is that it doesn't only build companies forward, but it builds you as a skilled professional forward. And once you start applying all these tricks and all these maybe thought leadership posts on LinkedIn specifically, it will allow you to grow your network. It will allow you to be found by opportunities, and especially it will allow you to be wanted in the rooms, even if you're not the one speaking in these maybe networking or community events. If you are part of that room, if you're being invited, it will make you more interesting, and that's what we want, for you to be the one that they want in the room, right? Now, going back to offline mode, let's say that it's scary to speak up, or that maybe we are not able to share maybe specific knowledge that others are talking about in a circle of people we just met. But if there's something that you have questions about, it's also really good to ask them out loud and in front of the maybe experts of those topics, especially if they're men. I think we can obtain a lot of expertise from asking questions, of course, and it doesn't just add value to our personal brand, but it also allows others to feel like they are important, needed, and also like they're the ones who know about such topics. And psychologically, that is the best point of being out there and putting yourself out there as a person that is trying to learn something, or as a person that actually knows about such topics. Okay, thank you, Kathy, for adding value to this conversation. Thank you, MS. All right. If there's anything else about questions related to the online versus offline, I'm happy to answer them. This is a short overview about how we can differentiate and what's important to point out. So, quick recap. If you're going to be posting something incredibly extroverted online, make sure that that's the same person that they will meet when they meet you offline. If they're inviting you to coffees, or if you're going to networking events, try to balance whatever you're posting about or talking about regarding thought leadership on LinkedIn versus the person that they will be meeting and the person who will be answering these questions. Okay, let's move forward. So now let's talk about LinkedIn profiles. Before I get into showcasing one of your LinkedIn profiles and seeing how can we update it and make it more, let's say, brighter, I will show quickly what is expected to be tailored and up to date, as consistent as you can. As every time that you get a new job opportunity or there's a change, this is what you should be thinking about. So this is my personal LinkedIn account where I've only highlighted the main parts. And I would like to start with, of course, the banner and the photo. So as you can see, my image is bright and you can see my face, my nose, my eyes immediately. And if people, I go into a networking event and people see me, they will automatically recognize that this is me. So this is important for that reason, that they recognize me immediately. The second most important part would be, well, actually the second one would be the headliner, but let's go quickly to the banner, as it's easy as giving something to whoever is looking at your LinkedIn profile as what your interest is, what you're maybe focused on right now. In my case, it's building my startup forward and letting them know what I'm talking about or what they will see in my profile post or me commenting. So now moving forward to the headliner. After this one, I have a quick ChatGPT prompt that everyone can use. You can screenshot or take a photo of it for you to take. But I think the most important part of LinkedIn is finding what everyone else is doing to be easily understood. And in this case, we have to break it down into 3 or 4 parts. I am allowing myself to break it down to 4 parts so others can know a little bit more about me and they know what they're getting themselves into if they want to do any sales with me for me, or they want to join the company, or specifically do some kind of projects like now with this community. And the way that everyone does it, and I'm saying everyone because there are some people that are breaking it down into just a sales pitch, and that's also okay if you're in sales. In our case, in tech, I think it's important to highlight what our role is first, in what company, a lot of people, instead of, they have a at Hei Dingo in my case. And once you have that very specific and very important, letting them know what you're capable of or what your role is in that said company, automatically go to what your priority is in this moment, meaning something that is your unique approach. Maybe if you're a software developer, what's your programming language? And data analysis, what is the tool that you use for such things? Could be something very personal too that makes you stand out. And then maybe breaking it into the third part, into something that you advocate for or that you're working with. In my case, it's diversity, inclusivity, and everywhere. So, and I'm letting everyone know that it's international, but just in my case, saying everywhere. And then so on and so on. Try to make it just as long as, I would say, as you see here, 3 lines. If you make it any longer, when you're commenting on LinkedIn posts, people won't be able to see it. It's okay, but I would say to keep it consistent and keep it short so people understand who you are and automatically recognize you when they see you on another post or when you're posting yourself. Then the third part would be what company you're working on right now and your studies. This is something interesting that I always like to bring up when I'm talking about LinkedIn profiles, and it's that, for example, QS is not a university, it's a accelerator. And for me, it's very important that other startups, because I work with startups, know that I was part of QS because it's one of the best accelerators in the Nordics from Finland. And by allowing them to understand that I've been part of the Finnish community and specifically the startup ecosystem in Finland, so Nordics, it's easy for me to open doors. It's easy for them to understand that, oh, okay, I know where she's coming from. So we will get into how we can be able to change this if we have different studies or if we want to emphasize on a university that's more important than others. But I think these are the ones that we should take care of most. And then lastly, there is the URL. So I like to talk about this one specifically because in today's world, we want to be Googleable. So if a recruiter, and maybe Kathy can tell us a little bit more about this one, but if in Finland, at least, if a recruiter is looking for you and wants to know a little bit more of your background and they are able to Google you, in this case, I have my full name here, Dafnee Meneses, easily searchable and easily also found when they're searching on LinkedIn. So if you haven't updated, I highly recommend that you update your LinkedIn URL. And when you go into your profile, you go to the right and here's the pen and you can easily change it there. And I don't think there's a limit to changing it, but as long as you change it once and it's easy, then I think it's perfect. Any questions here? I'm seeing. Okay. Yes, career breaks can be somewhat of making us a little bit like unconfident, but try to build from that. What in your career break could you have maybe learned while, maybe taking charge with something else? And that you can also use in your power, in your benefit to open conversations or network with others in your similar position. Okay, but here in my screen, you can see the ChatGPT prompt. You can also take as an example another profile that might be interesting or could seem as a role model, even a mentor, and highlight or obtain the headliner, copy it, and ask ChatGPT, using this example, then paste the headliner. Please write an eye-catching LinkedIn headline for under 220 characters to communicate my unique value and professional identity. It's as easy as that. And then if there's some keywords that you don't like, then you can just start shaping it. And of course, it's going to be a good way to guide you to build your profile forward. I will leave it one more second and I will continue now. Okay. Now, this part of LinkedIn is sometimes where people get lost, or maybe we don't understand where to find it. And one thing that I like to recommend, as mentioned here, is under your profile, let me just go back quickly, you will see Add Profile section. And when you click there, you will obtain this version of LinkedIn, this feature. You can click on core and add everything else that we talked about. You can click on recommended, and you will see specific places where you can ask for recommendation. You can add features. You can add your portfolio there. For example, your GitHub, it would be really good to have there if you have one. But recommendations are really good in today's world because it builds off credibility and validation of who we are, what we've done, and everything that can build our presence online. But not only that, others that have been commenting or sent these recommendations, your profile will also be seen. And people get curious when you come out and you have said nice, kind words about someone's profession. They're interested to know what did they work with you or how did they work with you, in this sense, if you left a recommendation or vice versa. So I highly recommend everyone, whenever you finish any project, let's say if you have a specific deployment to do and it's relevant for your background, then ask that person you did that teamwork with to give you a recommendation. And it's not pushy if you consistently ask to the same person, but I would say the maximum times to ask one specific person, and that hasn't answered yet, would be 3 times. After that, I think that's enough. On the other hand, if you have not worked with that person, I would say do not ask. One, because you want to build credibility, and if that person does not know you and has not worked directly with you or indirectly, then don't ask for recommendations until you have done something with them. Otherwise, they won't be able, or they won't allow for any opportunities to come forward from their network. And that's what we want, to build our brand forward and credibility and build a good reputation. Okay. So now, because of the time, I would like to get into LinkedIn and maybe see a couple of profiles. I don't know, Ronke, if how many people we have, if that's possible to see, or do we just go ahead?
As far as I can see, there are currently 11 people watching. There were 12 earlier, or 14. So maybe those who are
Right.
here and would like to have their LinkedIn profile workshop could post their link in the comments. So we workshop one of them, of the people who are actually here, not someone who registered and didn't come. So if you feel comfortable that we have a look at your profile, maybe you could post it.
If interested in just getting some comments.
If not, we will just choose one from the list that we have. But this is your opportunity. Yeah, who is brave? Good question. We're not going to call you out. We're just going to give some really helpful tips how you can improve your LinkedIn profile.
Okay. Well, good way to start off. Let's maybe I will grab someone with a data analysis background, which would be interesting now because of the conversation. And let me just open up to see what we can obtain. Let me know in the comments. Okay, Misty, I will open up your LinkedIn too. Yes. Okay. And remember, these are comments and subjective points of view. So, of course, take what you think is best, that adds value to your personal brand. And let me share my screen. Yes. Share screen. I don't know, Ronke, if we have to allow my screen to show. Okay, perfect. All right, so here We have Mistys Profile. Thank you, Misty, for showing us. We have System Administrator, IT Support as headline, Compliance, Enthusiast. Okay, so I think here we could add a little bit more value to, for example, me, if I were recruiting someone for AI, and I would understand that you are also into compliance and system administrator, it adds value. But what else? Maybe being more niche down, more specific about what else could you talk about or work around in certain topics. Maybe also adding, I would say, what kind of specific companies. And of course, we can go down and see your experience, your previous experience. But remember, we want to be eye-catching. So if you could add something related to maybe the company you're working currently in. So at where did we see here? At Aurora Medical Spa. So for example, you're into like the healthcare. That's also very specific, and usually companies that are in healthcare are very specific to get people with experience in this sector. So it makes you stand out, makes you relevant. It also shows here, that's good. Maybe we're missing your university, even if it's like a certificate or something related to such. I see that you have licenses. That's really good too. Let me continue up. I think your background is really interesting. Maybe something more that is personal to you that makes it more relevant to what I would see specifically in let me hide this in Misty's environment. What else? I see that you're not connected with many people. I would highly recommend you to start connecting with people relevant to your environment. So maybe more maybe not support specialist, but anything related to AI as your enthusiast in that. That would make your network maybe more relevant, more interesting to learn from them and them learn from you. And then you're about. I would really recommend to maybe insert all this information that you have on ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, can you help me extend my about so people can learn about me a little bit more? You have plenty of years of experience, so this is wonderful. Maybe you can break it down into what I've learned before, during, and after joining such company. It's excellent that you're already sharing about your leadership. I think that's interesting because then people can obtain a lot of value from you, not just maybe task-oriented or super hard skills, but also your soft skills are really good and relevant right now. Okay, that's a good question. What are your leadership style characteristics from Kathy? That could be interesting to acknowledge too. I'm not sure if this is for the LinkedIn, but either way, we can add something related to leadership skills here, as she mentioned. Let's go down. Maybe in top skills, I would say, if you're not looking for a job right now and it's more like just building your personal brand to be acknowledged by your industry or your peers to be the one that they think of first, then I would say just adding your top skills more directed to what you want them to think about you when they think that they need you in their environment. That way it's more personalized. So communication, maybe be more specific of what kind of communication skills, or business continuity. I think that's actually good. And like those keywords could be something to emphasize because also that makes you searchable. But of course, adding a little bit more to your about can shape that. So I would keep it to this, to updating your headliner. We can use ChatGPT, and we can also research, a couple of other profiles around your same background to see what they have. Copy that one, add it to ChatGPT, and say, hey, could you use this example to create my headliner? I think other than that, I think it's great. You're very active, so that's good. And yeah, I think you have also broken it down into parts with your career background, which is interesting and easy to understand. Licensing skills, perfect. Recommendations, I think one of my favorite ones, because at least I can see credibility and I can validate that this person is real in our environment now. Okay, So I don't know if you have any questions, or does anyone have any questions? Let me see here. Yes, I agree with Kathy here. Influencing skills are important in your field. For example, influencing leadership, I think really good to add. All right, then. I'll move with Rama. As she mentioned, she also has her profile. Can we just confirm that this is you, Rama, if possible? If not, then we'll go forward with her to see her profile.
I think it's her. I checked
Okay.
in our list, and that looks to be her profile. Yes.
Confirm. Great. So here, okay. First of all, I would say that you don't have a headliner. It's passionate about transforming data to intelligence. I think that's really kind and really good. This would be more going on your about or creating some kind of content, but I automatically don't know what you are doing or what's your role. If I were to hire you, what should I think about from Rama? That's one. Maybe you can also say transforming data to intelligence as an ending point of your headliner. Yes. And what else could I also? You should try to connect with more people. I think you have great connections already, 200, but maybe more in your local environment. So right now it says that you're in Indianapolis. Maybe try to find people related to your environment, maybe companies or startups. That could be a great idea. Startups that are interested in building, maybe their company brand. So connect with those people that are trying to get their word out there and see what they're talking about, see what they're in need of. And then from that, you can also obtain information like, oh, okay, so my personal brand should be maybe targeting those kind of people, or maybe I connected with the incorrect people in Indianapolis. Maybe I should be thinking of some different types. But also you can let me know a little bit more in your headliner about what kind of data analysis do you actually do, because I'm thinking that there's many kinds in today's world. So be a little bit more specific, shape your story, grab it, put it all together, and let me know immediately. If Rama would comment in my post from my company and then I read her headliner, if I need someone like Rama, do I contact her directly or do I wait? I was part of Society of Women Engineers section in Indianapolis, and it was a great experience. Awesome. That's coming from Kathy, so that's really nice and interesting. That's a good idea for Rama to take today. Also, the banner. So let's say you commented on my profile on one of my company's posts, and I find you interesting and I want to know more. Maybe the banner is not the most relevant thing to have, but it would give me a brighter idea in immediate thought to what to expect from her. What's her personality? Are we a click? Are we a match? Is there something related to that? I think your profile photo is actually clear. And if I see you in the streets, would I recognize you? I think yes. So in that case, no problem. If you have an opportunity to have maybe a professional photo, it doesn't even have to be from a studio. It can be with your phone, good lighting, then someone helping you, like your partner or husband. I think that would be nice, but maybe every year is also a good idea to kind of update that in that sense. Let's see about your about. I think that's interesting. We're in that. Yes. Okay, I think you have really good information. You're making it clear what kind of, see, this is great. You should take something from here that really resonates with what others need from your role and then put it in your headliner. So here you're giving me so much information that it makes me validate that you're the person that I would want in my company, for example. You're already saying that you're looking for roles. This is actually great. You can also add something like this, one of these, into your headliner, so I can already connect it like, oh, you're an expert in such role and you're open for a role like this, so why not send her a message and invite her for an interview. Top skills, I think these are really good, actually perfect. I automatically know what you would be able to take on, and maybe ask you about certain, maybe even softwares that might be interesting to get. You have certificates from Coursera. That's also very relevant and good. You can make even posts of what you've learned from that. If you're not shy about posting and putting yourself out there, you can always say like, "Oh, I had this experience with Coursera, and I either recommend it or not recommend it." Now that you have taken them in your experience part, I think this is very interesting. Tata is a very recognized company around the world. Yeah, I think here you have a good. I would add a little bit more information of what specifically did you do as a consultant. What maybe did you learn or did you obtain? A little bit how we shape our CVs, bring in specific data and metrics that, okay, I did consultant. I did maybe 5 calls and they were all successful if it was sales in this case. But anything related to what did you achieve in that role in this company and in this time, and it makes it interesting. I would do, I think, a little bit of at least the recent ones, and then your education. It's very clear. Your certificates, I think that these are great. You've been a volunteer. That makes me automatically think of you as someone that is open for opportunities and kind-hearted. So you're very interesting. I guess people that are more aware of such. Oh, this is actually great. Indiana Reading and Information Services. Yeah, and it makes me already. If I were in Indiana, of course, and I know these programs, I could even find someone that either knows you or validates your work. So if I wanted to prove that you have done such things and I can, have someone to validate this, then I know where to look for. So this is great. This is great. Skills, interesting. I already want you in my team. This is great. And interest. Yeah, I think other than that, let's recap. I think your about is really good. You're to the point of what you are, what you're doing, and what you're looking for work. And yeah, I think we should work on our headliner, as mentioned, and maybe be a little bit more active. Comment on others' posts. Comment on and in your circle, like where you are now in Indianapolis. Find people that relate to what you are trying to obtain as a job, and then start commenting. Make your personal brand come out and let them know that you're available to work. Just slightly saying like, oh, if you're interested, I can help you with that specific task that you're maybe stuck on today. And so,
Daphne, do we have time for a quick third one?
yes, do we have
Because we have
one?
10 minutes. I think we have 13 minutes left. Maybe because Danielle asked, maybe Danielle wants to share her link.
Yes, Danielle. If not, then I can find it right
Yeah,
here.
I don't
No worries.
Do you see it in the list?
I
don't.
I have her full name. Just
yeah.
let us know, Danielle, if you can confirm. But remember, everyone, that Kathy is offering 30 minutes of coaching for free. So if you have any other questions, contact her. I think she has really great point of view. Okay. Daniel, I think we do have to confirm your profile since we have many.
I don't have it in the
Let's see
list,
if she's-
unfortunately. So
are you
I don't know if she's not responding. Okay. Oh, I posted the link again. Yes, but where? We don't see it. I don't see any link here.
Okay. Yes, great.
But I also don't see Kathy's link. Kathy said the link to the section, but there's no link there either. That's interesting.
Yeah. Maybe if I.
It's a shame.
let me try to find you very quickly. We might not have people in comments, so I'm going to 3+, meaning that it might be further in my network. Yes, there's still. Okay, Danny B. Kayode. Thank you, Daniel. This is very helpful. Okay, it's loading. Okay, maybe this is something. Oh, maybe it's me. First, let's see. Let's see. Would it happen to be Kayode B, DevOps engineer? Okay. Daniel. Let me try to reload.
Unfortunately, I can't find the link anywhere. It's in none of the comment section. So, what? No, it's GRC. What does that mean, GRC? Okay, well, unfortunately, we can't find the link and we can't find your profile. So we'll have to either workshop another one as a third one.
I think
because we don't have that much time left.
I think I actually found you.
Have you? Ah, look.
You made,
yes, that's right.
Great timing too. All right. Yeah, last one. Let's try to get the best out of this one. So I think something that automatically stands out, I recognize you from your YouTube profile, which I can see here in the comments. But if I were to see you maybe in a networking event, would I recognize you? Probably not. So that I would be asking you, like, if you want to be recognizable, maybe have something more like a headshot, so from the shoulders up, so we can see you directly and identify you. That would be one. Although really great photo. Then you have the back one. It has your name directly. It represents you very well, very professional. I think it's really good too. If you update it constantly, that's more up to you. But I think this one's really good. I would just say about the headshot, as we call it. Okay, let's go to your headliner. GRC, Information Security Professional, Risk Management, ITGC, SaaS Consultant. I think this is great. Yeah, I actually don't know maybe how to add value to this one, because I think automatically I identify you. I know what you could help me if I was looking for someone specifically in risk management. I know who to talk to. I need to talk to Danny immediately. Okay, you're well connected, so great. This is really good for your network to stand out and so on. Your career, your current positions is good. You have, maybe this is more personal because I have also used premium LinkedIn, but you're very active. What else? You have highlights. You're in communities. That tells me already a lot. You're about. Okay. IT governance, strategic partner and advisor, collaborating with stakeholders. This is incredible. I think it already makes me think about you as a thought leader, which is, I think, in my biased opinion, but I think that's what you're going for. You want to be a thought leader. You want to be thought as someone that, is in a leadership position, which is really great. If that's what you're aiming for, I think it's already really good. I don't know, maybe I would add more about what you're open to do, what your maybe next goal is, so people would identify you as, should I be open to contact her in these topics, or maybe not, she's not open right now. But other than that, it's really good. Even your practices, as mentioned here, my analytical communication negotiation skills are top notch. Incredible. I think this is great. I wouldn't doubt to move forward with maybe working with you in the future. Services, you even have services, which is really good if someone, for example, a startup like me would be interested in getting your maybe advice or guidance or consult into something more specific, then I know that you are open to that. This is what this is allowing me to obtain as information. Okay, I would say an activity, I would say this is good. Maybe give me a little bit more of information. I mean, we can go deeper into that, but it's perfectly fine to just comment and so on. You are also commenting every now and then, as I see a month ago, a week ago, 5 days ago. Maybe as a thought leader that you were giving me in the beginning, like this person that is an advocate and so on. Maybe I would like to hear more about you. You sound so interesting. I want to know more. I want to know what I could learn from you as an expert in such topics. Maybe that's also personal opinion that I would already want to learn more about you. But of course, it's fine. That's a more of a personal interest. In experience, yes, you're telling me a little bit more. I think these ones are great because it allows me to understand what you learned and achieved, as mentioned before. You also added your skills. This is good. I don't have anything else to say regarding this. Education certificate, great. Skills, perfect. Yeah, you have plenty of skills too, which is really good right now. And recommendations, I think perfect. Yeah, I think we're closing this conversation with cherry on top. So yeah, personal opinion, just be a little bit more proactive. Mention what your maybe personal interests are in communicating what we can obtain from you or learn from you as a personal, of course, opinion. But yeah, what about you, Ronke? What do you want to share with us? I think these are great profiles, by the way.
Yes, this was very insightful. Thank you, Daphne. And some really good profiles already, and some extra tips. I actually changed something in my profile when I was listening to you, because I realized that I'd forgotten to put my company in the headline for some reason. But yeah, good tips. Thank you so much, and thank you for doing this for us, Kathy.
Yes.
Oh, Kathy, you're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry about that. It was fun to tag team on chat. Hopefully that wasn't too distracting, but I think it was neat to have the two dynamics going on. But I think, LinkedIn is not going away. LinkedIn, for example, is here to stay. And, we shouldn't feel bad about things we don't know. We should just have the attitude. We just need to learn more over time and try to figure it out. And, we don't have to overwhelm ourselves, but if we just kind of commit to, this is something I just have to learn about over time, I think it could be pretty fun to learn about it and keep improving our profiles over time.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty fun.
I just shared our details again because I think Misty asked for the contact info for Kathy. Don't forget to contact Kathy for the 30-minute coaching session. You can also link to her on LinkedIn. The QR code will take you straight to our profiles. Daphne, I think maybe you would want to share your contact details once more as well.
Yes. Did everyone get the link? Because I think this is amazing to obtain from Kathy. The about section is almost always the one that is like cracking our brains. Like, what do we add here? But from our side, I think being part of Hei Dingo, if you want to join the community, here's also the QR code for you to scan. We help you find job opportunities, specifically in Finland if you are here, since we are just starting. Hopefully in the future, in a couple of years, all over the world. But yes, thank you everyone for joining. I think this is a great community. We should be more proactive. Let's ask more questions in the community. Let's get more value from Ronke and Kathy, which are incredible mentors. So anything that you have in mind, and if there's more questions, I'm happy to answer on the community feed if you have anything there. Thank you, Cassie. Thank you, Ronka.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just reiterate that. Please don't forget to ask questions in the group. That's why we created it. So we can only help if you ask for support. There's always one of us there since we're in different time zones. So feel free to post whatever you like, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you so much, Dafne, for doing this for us. This was an amazing experience, and I hope we will be able to host more workshops in the future. Thank you all. I will now end the stream. See you in the group. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.